Hey, this is Art Fennell with Country Style, and you're listening to the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast.
Welcome to Black Smoke Barbecue. We are a collaborative group that focuses on different aspects of barbecue from pitmasters from all across North America. Barbecue is a culture, and we discuss topics, ideas, and the methods of it on the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast. Our mission is to spotlight those lesser-known content creators in backyard barbecue, catering, food truck operations, as well as the African-American experience in modern-day barbecue. Sit back, relax, listen, and enjoy the show.
And we are live, everybody. Welcome back to the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Carpenter from BKC Cooks. Got a good crew on the panel today, and we have a very special guest. But we're going to check in with everybody and see how everybody is doing, what they're cooking. But y'all, if you're listening, if you're watching, do us a favor. Make sure you subscribe to the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast, whether it's on YouTube or any place else you get your podcasts. We really do appreciate that. That really helps us out. So let's check in with the crew. We got my man Charlie from Charlie Maverick Barbecue. What's going on, brother?
What's cracking, man? How you doing?
Man, I am fantastic, brother.
That's right. That's right. National Barbecue Month starts today. We're recording on the 1st of May. I'm so happy and I'm ready. Let's celebrate.
But are they ready for us? Now, that's the real question.
I don't know if you can ever get ready for us, but here's the thing. If you stay ready, you won't ever have to get ready.
There it is.
Hallelujah.
There it is. Man, we got our resident poet, T from T-Dub Barbecue. T, what's going on, brother?
Man, nothing much. Finally done with a National Poetry Month. When I tell you that thing had me running left and right. So glad National Barbecue Month is here so I can get out on that pit.
Yeah, I saw you all over the place, man. You did all types of appearances and stuff, and they had you stretched out, man.
Yeah, man.
Wait, I'm glad you're in a month that you're enjoying a little bit more.
Yes, sir.
And then checking in down the street from me, we got my brother Alton, the Dog Father from the Dog Father's Barbecue. Al, what's good, bro?
What up, though?
Nothing. Long time no see, man.
I know it's, you got to stay home, brother. You always on the road somewhere.
Hey,
I'm just mad because you don't come get me.
I've been on the road with you. Don't run me out there like that, bro.
Okay, that is true. We was on the road together this weekend. Hey, but I thought every month was National Barbecue Month. What y'all talking about this month?
Well, that's what the people say. That's what they claim. And you know it. Every day is barbecue day.
Every day for us. Yeah.
Hey, I don't need no excuses to light up some post up. So,
Hey, you know what I always say? Don't tempt me with a good time, brother. And last but not least, we have our fearless leader, Brother Jeff from Outdoors with Jeff. Jeff, what's going on? Where are you? They talk about me, but you're the man who's always on the move. Where you at today, bro?
Oh, man, I'm on the East Coast still, brother, but I'm doing good, man. Doing good, man. It's good to see you. Good to see you. I'm glad to see you got the main intact, man. I had to,
yeah, man.
Brandon, I came to a realization, man.
Lay it on me.
I'm losing the battle, so I'm just having to go this way, and this may be gone in a minute. I just can't do it no more, man. So you may see me looking like Alton and Charlie in a minute, man. I can't do it no more, man.
I'm over.
It's just.
I'll tell you this, Jeff. I got enough of all of it. Soak it in, everybody. Plenty to go around.
Hallelujah.
I got you covered, man.
Jeff, I gotta ask you something, man. You've been over there so long, bro. I mean, playing with those pressure cookers and crock pots. Do you even remember how to start a fire?
Oh man.
Hey, bro, it's like riding a bicycle. You never forget it, man. I can do it in my sleep. Man. Look, hey, don't think I don't smell that post oak, man. I smell those smells coming down there from Texas. I get them over here.
Hey, I'm so bad with it, bro. I got my bourbon and Coke right here smoked.
You playing?
We're going to stage that intervention one day soon, brother. You watch.
Yes, indeed.
Well, good, man. I'm glad everyone is doing well. Glad to have everybody on the pod today. But like I was saying, we have a very special guest, y'all. This brother is somebody that we have been watching and someone we aspire to be like. This brother, man, he's a bad boy. He's a bad dude. He's a former Journalist of the Year. He's an Emmy winner, and he's past president of the National Association of Black Journalists. And he also has one of the meanest YouTube channels where they get down, party, and barbecue like nothing you've ever seen. I'm going to let him explain all that to y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Art Fennell to the podcast.
Oh, gentlemen, I bow down and salute you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming on, man. So, Country Style on YouTube. Man, I'm going to tell you something. I was talking with Jeff the other day, and it's like that meme that's going around. That brother don't miss. I mean, anything y'all put up, it's booming, and for good reason. When you watch your channel, it is just a good time. It is absolutely entertaining. How did y'all get started? How did all this come about?
Oh, well, they ask me that a lot. Country Style, that's the way I can describe it. I've always been involved with a camera in one way, fashion, or shape or another. And I had a concept. I've always got concepts. I had a concept that I was just going to take some time on the road and just travel and hang out with my brothers and sisters in small town America, wherever they are, whatever they were doing, eat some good food with them, just hang out and let people love up on them, get to expose them. And I said, well, I'll start in my own backyard. And one day we were just out there like we are at most times. Nothing's planned. It just the way it just happened to be that day. We were doing some hog heads in a black wash pot. And there were a few libations flowing, as usual. And I started filming. And I posted that video, and it just kind of took off from there. It wasn't posted to become Country Style or this new thing that I'm doing. It was really just shooting a video of what was happening that day in the backyard. And man, as they say, the rest is history.
Well, history indeed, man. I think y'all have to have one of the most successful channels, especially in the black barbecue space. I had the pleasure of meeting Jism last year at Auntie Delilah's. Why do you say, hey, look, Uncle Jism is the man, brother. But, y'all have a great, I don't want to say cast of characters, but just people who are featured on there. And there's so much personality.
How candid can I be on this show?
Brother, all the way candid.
It's a safe space.
Is a pain in the ass. He's my big brother. And I love him. And let me tell you, on a daily basis, Jism is a lot to put up with. And what you see when you are watching him is exactly how he is. And so just imagine dealing with that all the time. That's my world.
Well, now I will tell you that I talked to Jism at the same event, and he's told me to send you a message if I ever talk to you. He's like, man, they're always effing with me, Tell them to stop effing with me.
Well, he doesn't need much prompting. And, it's unfair. I have a TV background and I'm used to hosting things, but, there's people you have to prod and poke to get a response or to get some action out of him. You don't have to do any of that with him because he's already wired that way. But yet and still, they label me as an instigator and say that I'm the only reason that he is as ornery and stubborn as he is, which is just a damn lie.
I got to tell you, man. I love his slogan when he's out at places, when he's selling all his merch. It's very simple in one sentence. Buy my shit.
Yeah.
Nothing more to be said.
Yeah. Well, and so again, my brother Jism and all the other guys that are on that show, are people who I didn't have to go find. I grew up with everybody on that show. They're in the neighborhood or in the house. And I mean, I'm already familiar with them. I know their personalities. I know what they can do. I know their strengths and all of that stuff. And so Country Style really, truly, is just an unscripted as it is version of what we do around that house and in that backyard all the time. And what we've been doing for a great number of years, it's just that I didn't have a camera showing everybody what it is. And if I'm honest, and you guys would know this as well as anybody, it's what a lot of families and friends are doing in their houses and in their backyards. And so it became a mirror of like things are if you're in Texas or Louisiana or Alabama, Mississippi, wherever you are. People say, man, that's just like my family too. So I'm just a mirror to hold that up and let them see that.
Good deal. Good deal. Art, this is Jeff from Outdoors with Jeff. With a question for you. You talked about your years in journalism. For those who don't know you from that perspective, can you kind of do a little deep dive on that? And I see the consistent storytelling from your days back on TV One and local news and stuff like that, and the same way you tell those stories with your family and friends today. Can you kind of cover the parallels of that?
Yeah, well, you know, I don't know about you guys. I don't know if y'all know what it's like to be poor and broke. But I went to school when we was poor and broke, South Carolina State University, South Carolina State College then. Didn't know, what I wanted to do or what I wanted to be. I'm pretty good in most things artistic, whether it be photography, even some painting. I used to dabble around with sketches and so forth. And so I thought maybe I would get into that, but that didn't pan out. I took a job out of necessity, at a local radio station when I was in Orangeburg, South Carolina, because I had bills and we didn't have no money. And I lied my way into the interview because the guy asked me if I had any experience, and I said, sure. And I think he knew I was lying, but he liked the way that I was desperate to get this job. And so he gave me a shot. And so from radio, I morphed into TV, started doing the local radio market, local TV markets, in the South and South Carolina and Georgia and Virginia. Then I moved on to Philadelphia, where I did work for CBS. Later, all of this is over time, obviously, for CBS and NBC and CNN and TV One and BET. And so that's kind of where I did my growing in the industry. You know, I did everything from photography to reporting, to anchoring, to hosting my own show, to producing, to executive producing, to hiring and firing. So I went through the industry literally, as they say, you started from the bottom, now you're here. And that's what happened. So I use all those same skills that I grew up with in putting Country Style together. It's not a heavy lift for me because it's something I've just grown used to. So that's the version of the career, sort of in a nutshell for you there, Jeff.
Good deal.
All right. Hey, Art, this is Alton from the Dog Father's Barbecue. And, man, I gotta say, okay, you know, I get on YouTube and I watch videos, you know, as many people do.
Yeah.
And, I kind of gravitate towards the educational type videos, you know, where you go and you want to go learn something, because YouTube is YouTube University after all, right? Then you have some that are entertainment, you know, and I look at your videos and you smack dab in the middle where I'm going to call it edutainment, right? So I don't call it, you know, what you do to me, I don't look at it as YouTube videos. I look at it as a reality show, man, because I'm sitting there watching and you know, a lot of times I'm sitting there fast forwarding through different videos and I come to your videos and I'm like, hold up, I don't want to miss anything because these dudes be getting it in. So my question to you is, with the way that your channel has progressed and all of your content has come along so organically, have you given it any thought to possibly making this into a reality show, or have you been approached by anybody about it?
Many times. And the answer is no. And I'll tell you why. So you mentioned what you call it, edutainment.
Yes, sir.
So my background is in reporting and giving people news, facts and figures and information, right? So I never depart too far from that. People who know me from my professional career, can't believe that I'm from the country. People who know me from my country life never could see me in a suit and tie every day on an anchor desk telling people, here's your news for the night. So those two worlds hardly ever came together except on a few occasions. So I've always tried to educate people and give them information, but nobody wants to be bored when they receive this information. You can make that fun if you're in the right setting. And so I always have walked that line. That's kind of inherent to who I am. And so I've had some success in the documentary space and in long form reporting. They gave me a lot of awards, said, all right, hey, you're pretty good at this. Yeah. Okay, fine. But I could have done shorter snippets of videos like most YouTube prototypes are. But what I wanted to do, Dogfather, is, as you said, I wanted to give them a longer version and put it to more in a real life form so that they can follow that storyline longer. Now, every character on Country Style I nicknamed, every one of them. Okay. So and some of those names I pulled out of thin air. But if I were to try and put that into a reality TV space, it would no doubt change dramatically. Because there are a lot more controls on it, a lot more filters on it, lot more hands on it. And these guys that are in Country Style, they don't know that world. They're not familiar with that space. And so they would, in my opinion, they wouldn't be the same people. They would become people who they thought now had to become actors. And so that's why I said I'd never do that. The YouTube space, as you guys well know, is really where the future is. And so there's just no need to go back into that reality TV space. Unless somebody had a big ass check that they want to put in front of it. Then we can
might revisit a little bit.
So what I meant was,
so, Mr. Fennell, I got a question for you. This is Charlie from Maverick Barbecue. There's a lot of organicness that happens with your videos. My question is, do people know when you're coming, and do they know that you're going to tape something, or is it, I grew up in South Carolina too. Do people just pop up in the backyard and you're like, oh, got you now? Or do you organize some of the scenarios?
No, man. Listen, Charlie, they just pop up in the backyard. And they're people we know. And it's always been like that. The Fennell house in Bennettsville has always been a sharing space. My daddy, God rest his soul, he was always popular like that. And he was the first Fennell that was always over a pot and cooking something on a grill, or on hog killing day. Everybody was calling him to come help out. So he was pretty popular. So our yard, and I had a lot of brothers too, who were popular. And so, when I say a lot, I'm talking, there were 10 boys and 2 girls.
Oh, wow.
So we always had a lot of people around there. So this is nothing new. And if they know, because we have a reputation that there's going to be smoke in the air, you may have heard me say this on the show before. I always say, follow the smoke. People
That's right.
know when the Fennells have smoke in the air, and they just come. They just come to hang out, and that's all it is. So I don't have to make any phone calls. I don't have to tell anybody, hey, I'm going to be doing this today. Come by if you want to. They just show up. And I tell people that all the time. That's really the way it is.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
T from T-Dub Barbecue, also from South Carolina. Now, you mentioned you went to South Carolina State.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second? 1, what part of South Carolina? And 2, big ups. for that Eagles banner you got behind you.
Oh yeah, you see?
Oh, here we go.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, those fellas was giving me a hard time about that before we got on.
No, you good with me, dog.
South Carolina State College at the time. What was that like during the time you went there? I know that things have changed and it's kind of different since it became a university. And we're not going to talk about how they stole our football coach, but what was life like growing up at South Carolina State?
Well, it was good for me. You know, if you guys have seen the cook-off video, if you've been there or whatever, we do that in the small community of Blenheim, which is just outside of Bennettsville. Bennettsville is small. Blenheim is tiny, ain't you? And so that's why I went to high school there.
I'm sorry, Art. Can you say that one more again?
Tiny, ain't you? That's what we call it. Teeny.
I had to write that one down.
Teeny, tiny, ain't you? But the point is, coming from that small town, and not having any money, as I mentioned earlier, we didn't have a whole lot of options, man. And so South Carolina State was the state institution. It's the only one I could get in that would accept me, and that I could partially afford, and couldn't really afford that. But it was, when they talk about an HBCU being a family, it became that for me. Because I had professors who went way out of their way to help me get through, had, friends that are still my friends today. And we still hang out, not just friends that you see, hear about every couple of years, but we're still in regular contact. And so it was a big family. It was a good learning environment. Wasn't perfect, not by a long shot. I don't know what school would be. But I always said that, you take from the university or your educational setting what you can, and then it's up to you to figure out how you're going to apply it and use it in your life. And a lot of big, important people have come from not only South Carolina State, but you could close your eyes and point to any HBCU in the country and find others who've done great things, man. So I was happy to go there. It was right for me at the time, and it was the right decision. I graduated Mother's Day on a Sunday, went to work on my first job that Monday morning.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey, Art, I got a follow-up that kind of goes into the history side and the folks that you see on a daily basis. You had a series where you sat down with Hezekiah Ward, Jism, and sat down for about 25 minutes each and talked with them about their stories. And one of the things that really hit me was hearing Hezekiah Ward talk about growing up and basically the essence of life on a farm and how, you went to school in the wintertime because of the fact that you're working the fields in the summer. And the thing is, with a lot of that, a lot of people can relate. My grandfather actually had a similar situation in Chase City, Virginia, where he actually just went to school when it rained. And then because he was tending to the fields, that's the only time he could go to school. And then eventually ended up dropping out of school. But at the same time, everybody still came together and managed to have a good life. And it's that part of the country essence. And in terms of that, and in terms of the storytelling, what is it that you're trying to communicate besides the fun side? Because we see everybody get together, but those stories are gems. What are you trying to get out there in terms of that?
Man, that is you hear people say that's a great question, but that really is, because that is deliberate. When I put a guy like Hezekiah Ward in front of the camera and give him the space to tell that story, for your background, I could crisscross the state of South Carolina or anywhere in the South. And you could pull for me, the greatest people in those communities that you know of that know about life in the country. You couldn't find 5 of them that know more than Hezekiah Ward. He don't always get to show it and talk about it depending on what we're doing, but that he just knows so much about so many things and lived it. Again, Hezekiah came from a large family and he was the oldest of the boys. And so all of his younger siblings, I know all of them, they always looked up to Hezekiah. So Hezekiah had to do everything. Hezekiah, Hezekiah and Jism are contemporaries. But Hezekiah lived deep in the woods, and had to do everything there was to do on that farm as the oldest son. Okay. Because he had all the responsibility. So I want people to know about those kinds of stories and to hear that authenticity. When he tells it, I can tell you about it. I was there much younger and didn't live it as deep as they did. But hearing it come from a guy like Hezekiah makes all the difference in the world. And he's a good storyteller. So why not give him that platform, to talk about that? I had hoped that I would do that. I called that series Growing Up Country. And it's kind of still there. I just haven't had a chance to go back and pull the next guy and spend some time with him, and let him tell, what life was like for him. Like you said, I did a little bit with Jism. It's hard to keep Jism on track for a long time. And I did Navy Boy Rick. You may have seen that story. But that's the only ones I've gotten to so far, but I hope to give you more of that.
Good deal.
So Art, I got to ask you, you've got so many personalities, that you feature in your content and, strong personalities. And so my question is, when you decide to, pull out that camera and start recording content and go down this whole, avenue, I mean, what was that like getting everybody to be on board with being filmed and being a part of this?
It wasn't hard at all. I'm telling you, it wasn't hard at all. I mean, remember, I know them. So I didn't have to go up and say, hey guys, my name's Art and I got a camera and I'm just going to be hanging around and getting you doing whatever you're doing. Didn't have to do any of that. I basically say, hey, we're talking and Brandon, I got the camera. What the hell did you just say? And because they know me, then they automatically respond without thinking about it. I mean, that's what I mean by it's raw. I don't have to pull it out of them. Now it's been interesting. It's been interesting to me to see how they've all morphed into these deeper YouTube characters. Because it's sort of like I took a fire and poured gasoline on it, to the point where some of them have become, personality monsters. And I can name them for you. Would you guys like to hear some of them? I'll tell you about them right here now.
Please.
Please do.
Top of the line.
The floor is yours.
Who, if that camera is anywhere in the room or in the state, he's going to try and find it. Because he does not want to miss an opportunity to be on camera. Right behind him is his arch nemesis, the dragon, who is Ray Charles Williams. Okay. The camera has just enhanced his personality. He can't go to the grocery store without having to take pictures and selfies with people. And he just introduces himself now as, I'm the dragon. I'm the dragon. Okay. So then you take him, even my niece Muffin. You can take my brother Den Finn. You can take Cleve. You can go down the list. Lil Rob has become the latest YouTube monster on Country Style, who you can't keep away from the camera. So they're regular people who are now wearing their personas of their YouTube cast members. And that's hard to manage.
I love it, man. I love it. But with everybody just being, so raw, I'll put it that way, just being so raw, just letting everything just go. What's the outtake reel like? Do you have footage that you just like, man, I can't put that on there? Do you have anything like that?
Yeah, occasionally. But not a whole lot. I try to keep it as real as I can, except for when there's something that is blatantly offensive. And it does happen, because I'm not trying to hurt these guys or exploit them in a negative way. So if someone says something that is just way out of bounds, I'm going to probably take that out to protect them and to protect the integrity of what Country Style is trying to do. But YouTube said, hey, y'all can cuss all you want. They didn't need permission for that anyway. But I would, and I still will bleep, occasionally an F-bomb or an MF-bomb, almost all the, GDs. I try to take all of those out, when I can, and I can't catch them all. But I try and censor some of that stuff to protect them as best I can. And it ain't always easy, because there have been many, many times when there was something left on the table that I didn't see and got filmed. And if y'all know anything about YouTube, hey, T-Dub, I can look in your background of you sitting there like I saw the Eagles, and I might say, what are those books he's reading back there? Or what's that picture on the wall from the boys in Chicago from back in the day? Because they're looking at all of that stuff in your background, and you can't catch it all. And there've been some pretty incriminating stuff on that table.
I can imagine.
Well, I clean up as much stuff as I can, but I can't catch it all.
Yeah, it's extremely hard to do. Fellas, we're going to take a break and pay a few bills here, and we're going to come right back with our esteemed guest, Art Fennell, and we got something big to talk about when we come back. So y'all hang loose. Check out this commercial.
A revolutionary new grill brush is here, designed to eliminate the dangers associated with traditional wire bristle brushes. Meet the Youre brush, which will make cleaning fast, easy, and safe. The rust-proof stainless steel spring bristles are designed to withstand failure and last for many years. The Youre brush is crafted with a heavy-duty, all-metal design that is dishwasher safe. Cleaning your grill with the Youre brush while hot will provide effective cleaning without bristle loss danger. With a long handle for two-handed pressure that provides rapid cleaning that's easy and safe, it's time to say goodbye to the dangers of traditional grill brushes and hello to the last grill brush you will ever buy. Get yours now at BoyerBrush.com.
We like you to meet Sweet Charlene, the barbecue seasoning created from family bonds that is low in sodium but high in flavor. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a seasoned pitmaster. Level up your barbecue game with this dry rub that has amazing taste and great color. Go to EddieWrightBarbecue.com right now and order your choice between the 6-ounce shaker bottle, the 16-ounce bag, or my favorite, the 32-ounce bag, and start rubbing your beef, pork, and poultry the right way.
All right, y'all, we're back on the Black Smoke Barbecue podcast with our guest, Art Fennell. Art, you have a major event coming up here, the Country Style Cookoff, which I'm ashamed to say I have yet to make it to. I'm planning on making it this year. Can you tell us all the details, what it's about, and why should the people hurry up and get there?
So I've been blessed to have had some success at various stages in my life in producing things that have become larger than I had anticipated. When I lived in Philadelphia and did the news there, I started a foundation, which is called the Art Fennell Foundation, which focused on health matters. And I did a celebrity pool tournament that went on to become one of the biggest celebrity events in Philadelphia. And it started in my basement of my house on Labor Day when I just have a couple of the boys over for an impromptu pool tournament. And these weren't professional pool shooters. They're just the guys like us that shoot pool. And that became a big old thing that ended up being sponsored all over the city. So to the cook-off, it wasn't called the Country Style Cookoff. It was the Fennell Backyard Barbecue Competition that I only did on our family reunion. Because there's so many guys in our family that cook, so many other family members. And so, everybody's looking for entertainment during the family reunion. I created the backyard barbecue competition, and it started getting so popular that people that weren't in the family was like saying, man, can I come cook too? And I'd say, no, you ain't family. You're a friend, but you can't cook. So then finally I decided to take it out. And I took it down to Hezekiah, and I said, I'm going to invite some of the guys from the community, to a community cook-off. Okay. And I think the first year, we had 7. And I said, I'm not just there to raise money or to make money. I said, I want to do it to raise money. And I said, I want to give out a couple of scholarships. I said, maybe I can give out 2 scholarships. Well, we didn't make enough money to give out 1 scholarship, so I reached in my pocket and I paid it myself. But then every year it got a little larger. And then the next year there were a few more that came. Then the next year, a few more that came. And at that point, I was calling it the Marlboro County Country Cook-Off. Okay, because I wanted it to support Marlboro County. Then when I changed it to Country Style and invited all of my YouTube family, that's when it went through the stratosphere. Because people started coming from, I'm sure we've had people from any state you can think of, that have come down to tiny Bennettsville. And that's how it blew up. And that's over like a 7-year period.
So, Mr. Fennell, when people are expecting to arrive at the Country Style Cookoff, tell us what they should be, excited about. What do they plan to see in this venue?
Well, man, it's a great big family reunion. It's a community event down in the country, where people know they can come get comfortable and hang out, bring their families, their buddies, their peeps, and eat some of the best barbecue they're ever going to get to taste, because the guys that are cooking, in this competition really are good. And I tried tasting almost all of them, and they are good for real, for real. I just have to give them their props. And so it was one of those things where when people started coming, they knew they weren't going to meet a stranger. If my tent is parked next to your tent, before this day is over, you and I are going to be best friends. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to be laughing. We're going to be sharing drinks. And we're going to become family. The most popular place in the yard is as close as they can get to the chicken coop. Now, what does that tell you? It tells you that they don't care. They want the country. When they leave, they want the dirt to be on them. They want to say, man, I had that spot right by the chicken coop. I wouldn't want to be next to the chicken coop.
I know, right?
I'm just telling you, that's where they want to be. Okay. So it's one of those things where, you know how much I charged, for entry, for the first cook-off, which gave you entry and all you can eat ribs, chicken, and brisket. You know how much I charged them?
How much?
$5. And that included a water and a soda.
Oh man.
That's the best deal in the country, man.
But hey,
bro, I missed them prices.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I wasn't doing it to make money. I was doing it to bring the community together. I always do it on before Father's Day, because that's a good day when dads like to get on the grill. You guys know this. And it's even better when you can have your family around you and you're cooking for people who enjoy your food. And it's just a good setting where like-minded brothers can say, hey, man, I'm over here. I see you over there. And everybody's all together in the same space. That's really where it started. That's what it is. And as long as I'm around, that's what it's going to always be.
You hit on one thing, because you guys, and I've seen some of the videos, y'all definitely feed people. And some of the barbecue competitions and cook-offs that we're used to seeing, it's more so a thing for the judges. And if you eat, you're eating from the vendors. But y'all stuff some folks out there, man.
Yeah. Yeah. My goodness. This year we'll have probably, close to 100 cases of ribs. Same thing with the chicken. We've got 50 grill masters, this year, coming in, and I tell them, I'm up front. I say, look, you're not just coming to cook for that panel of judges, because there's several panels of judges, but you're coming to feed an army of people who likely will have never heard of you, won't know anything about you. But your opportunity is when they stand in front of you and bite your rib or taste your brisket or your piece of chicken, you may have a supporter for life. So don't miss that opportunity. So yeah, they're feeding people, man. And, I from everything I can see, they enjoy that because they enjoy the interaction. Okay. Because the people are talking to them. Okay. And they're getting to know them, and it's an exchange there. And that's part of the beauty of what makes the event so good. Feeding these people. If you leave hungry, it's your fault. Okay. But the food is out there.
I'll be attending this year, hopefully, if all goes well. And from the videos I've seen, it reminds me of my family is from St. George, South Carolina, and every Memorial weekend they had a little thing in Texas community, and it also kind of reminds me of campground meetings, like that sense of community. So, is there anything this year that you have in store that you can share with us that you haven't had in previous years?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I'm thinking on. I haven't had a chance to launch it yet and figure out exactly how I'm gonna do it. But I'd love to do a country style line dance.
Oh yeah.
Where at the end, we got a song now.
Yeah.
We're doing it country style. It hasn't been officially adopted as the anthem. I'm working on it. My cousin Tim put it together, and they still got some more work to do to fine tune it before I would launch that. But it's perfect for can you imagine all them people out there trying to do a line dance?
Chaos.
All it's from Larry.
Yeah.
It's going to be going in 12 different directions.
Man.
Yeah, they will. Oh man. And if they're trying to do it with a chicken bone or a rib bone, all over. So that's that's one thing that I would like to add to the mix this year.
Nice.
If I can pull it off, I'll keep you posted.
Man, I can't wait for that one, man. But Art, I got to check out your video that I think you released today, where you were over in NOLA.
Yeah.
Right down the road here. I'm kind of glad that I wasn't there, but hey, man, it looked like there was a lot of fantastic food out there. Whether we talking oysters or the red fish with that mango salsa, the ribs, the brisket. I mean, everything just looked like it was on and popping. My man had you yelling after tasting the sauce and all that. But
yeah,
I got to ask you, man, I mean, obviously it was a fantastic event, looked like a lot of fun, but what was your favorite bite from that entire event?
Well, I enjoy food. Okay. Dog father, I enjoy food. Let's start there. And I've got a particular taste bud. I know what I like. I can usually bite something and I can tell you some of them seasonings that you got working in there. I can tell you if that smoke is right, if the combination is right, if you done swamped too much sauce on it and tried to hide what you cooked, or if you didn't have enough sauce on it, because that whole sauce thing is a big deal for us. And there's a big debate over sauce and not to sauce. We can get into that at some other point if you want. But the point is I enjoy food. I had grilled oysters before. I had them from Drago's in New Orleans. You guys may be familiar with them.
Absolutely.
And I am not a big oyster guy. I can eat a couple of them, and that's going to be it for me. I'm more of a crab guy. I love blue crabs. But when I had those Drago oysters, I said, man, I could sit and eat this. Fast forward when I started talking to my guys down in New Orleans, and I mentioned that, they said, we've taken what Drago did and we put the brother's spin on it. He says, brother, that's what I was tasting. And yeah, it was all of that. And if it wasn't, I would have said something kind to them, but they would have known that I wasn't crazy about it, you know? But no, it was really, really good. I don't get to eat a lot of redfish. That redfish was something special. I love it because I love fish. They had all those toppings on it. And I'll even go as far as the ribs. The ribs were good, but there was something different. I don't know if it was a regional thing of how they're doing the ribs there, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but it was something different about those ribs, and I enjoyed it. And I was trying to express some of that, you know, in my comments, and sometimes it gets lost in there, but that's what I was going for. But yeah, that's why I was howling, brother. I really enjoyed it. I really, truly enjoyed it.
You know what that was on the ribs? It was nutmeg.
It was what?
It was nutmeg.
Oh,
isn't that what everybody say? Everybody always say that. It's something that they put in there that's something special. You can't quite identify. It was nutmeg.
Nutmeg. Yeah. But you know, you guys are pros in this space. But one of the things that I've noticed, if you're paying attention, there is a difference in barbecue regionally, depending on where you are, and how they do it where you are. And it may be subtle. And if you're not just picking it up and eating just because it tastes good, if you pay attention, or as my daddy used to say, pay attention. If you pay attention to it, you can really tell the difference, and you can say, yeah, I prefer this over that, or this style over that style. And that's what makes barbecue fun to me. Being able to experience all those different styles of cooking and presentations.
Absolutely.
By the way, are you guys sauce men or dry rub men?
Well, it depends on the mood. Usually dry rub, but you never know. With families around, sometimes you got to just break down and compromise with some sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agree.
You know, I make pretty good sauces, but typically whenever I make barbecue, if I serve it here with sauce on it, the first thing my friends ask me is, what did you do wrong?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. You know, I feel that. And that's the thing I was talking about. It becomes a regional thing or a cultural thing. In South Carolina, you know, there's no absolute on this, but they like sauce. And then they get into what is that sauce? Is it a vinegar-based sauce? Is it a sweet sauce? Is it a hotter sauce? Is it a mustard-based sauce? But they prefer some type of sauce. I like sauce. I don't like too much sauce, because as you say, it's like it's covering up too much of what I was hoping to taste. But I am a rub fiend. I love a good dry rub. I love tasting those different spices and herbs that are in a good dry rub. And I like watching how it complements the meat rather than taking it away from the flavor profile, but adds into it. And so those are the kinds of things that's fun for me, because a lot of times when I'm tasting on camera, I'm experiencing that for the first time. I'm trying to see what it's doing on the back end. How does it pull off the bone? You know, what's that meat trying to tell me? and so I get into it, man. I get excited about it.
See, I think I'm becoming more of a purist now, because man, as you can see back here, man, I got tons of rubs, back here. And a lot of times I don't use them. I really do salt and pepper, and now I've kind of gotten into the live fire cooking is all the rage, and everybody's doing it. And one of my friends is a big, ambassador of Argentinian cooking, and so I've really started to, get more into that, and where they literally are just using salt. Sometimes they don't even put anything on it. And I'm finding that I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it.
You're
because
letting the smoke bring you your flavor.
Yeah. I mean, cause again, you can't hide behind a rub. You can't hide behind a sauce. The salt is an enhancer, right? And that salt enhances the quality of whatever the meat is, whatever the protein is that you're cooking. And you really don't have any fudge room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You cook it right. Cook it right. You may finish it off and have a little chimichurri, whatever on the inside of it. But man, I'm just loving that because I just like that pure flavor of whatever that protein is.
Yeah. I personally think that's that's one of those things that can never reach a conclusion one way or the other. Everybody cooks different. Everybody's taste buds are different. People like what they like and don't like what they don't like. And so whether it's plain or with sauce or with rub or with nothing or whatever, yeah, hey, look, if it's done right, I'm still all for it.
Man, absolutely. I've come to learn, that I start telling people there is no such thing as bad barbecue. And people say, well, no, there is bad barbecue. And I'm like, nah, we got to kind of re-educate ourselves. It's not bad barbecue because somebody likes it. We might not like it, but somebody likes it somewhere. Whatever place you went to and it's, in your opinion, bad barbecue, they're still in business. So somebody likes it. So what I say is, you know what? It may not be bad barbecue, but it's different.
Yeah, that's right. Can I ask y'all a question?
Sure.
I asked my country style guys when we were taking that treacherous road trip to NOLA, because I had to pass. I asked them a question that I'll ask you all. Which would be worse if you had to eat it? A bad oyster or a pig foot with gout?
Oh, God. Well, I've had a bad oyster, so I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
I don't know about the other one.
Hey, can I just go hungry?
Yeah.
I bet. Yeah.
Equally terrible.
Yeah.
Equally terrible.
Is what even worse? Yeah.
I can't put it out.
So I have two quick questions. One question is for the dog father. You say you're becoming a purist. Does that mean you're becoming a snob? That's okay. You don't have to answer. So Art.
Hey, absolutely not.
Yeah, I know. So, with the Country Style Cookoff, from my estimation and some of the other guys here on the panel, what we've kind of observed, this seems to be the largest black cook-off or competition in barbecue that we've seen. Is that something you've picked up on, or has that registered at all?
Yeah, we were made aware of that, but not beyond our state's borders. There are a couple other big barbecues in South Carolina, but we think that we are probably the largest in attendance of all of those. We'll probably do 10,000 people this year. That's a whole lot of people. And that number, fluctuates. But, we're limited to the ground that we're on. We don't have space to expand. We can pack more people in there. But we can't keep packing grills in there. Like I'm at 50 for this year. And I'm stretching to get those 50 grills in there based on the landscape. Because it's like, it's the chicken or the egg, which one are you going to protect? I can put in a lot more grills, but that's a lot less space for the people. Or I can take out those grills and there'll be all those more people filling that space, but the grills feed the people. So it's a delicate balance trying to figure out how much can you put in there without putting them right on top of each other and make it fit. But yeah, it's a large event. And it gets, international exposure. We've got grills coming in to smoke from Texas, from Arizona, from Illinois, from Mississippi, Georgia, South and North Carolina, Virginia, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York. That's just off the top of my head. Okay. So it amazes me that, a grill master, and I do get it when they're passionate about what they do, says, hey, look, I'm hitching up my rig. I'm bringing my smoke to South Carolina and I'm coming to compete and have some fun. And I'm just amazed by that because that is a major commitment, to do that, from such a long distance. I got 2 grill masters coming from Louisiana. And that's 11 hours, you know?
That's a drive. Wow. So Mr. Fennell, I got a question for you. I've been watching your channel for a long time. And I've seen a lot of great moments. Now, I cannot let this podcast go by without asking you, what is the origin of Trizzolate and what warrants a Trizzolate moment? Because people are coming to this cook-off and they want to be caught on camera in the Trizzolate moment. And I've seen some people try and fail. And you walk straight.
Yeah. Well, I started doing a Trizzolate contest 2 years ago where I said, whoever stops me with the best Trizzolation, I give them a prize. So now we have a Trizzolation prize bag, which is loaded with all kinds of barbecue sauces and rubs and so forth. And believe me, they compete to try to win that. But Trizzolate is one of those stories. Me and my brother, we still argue about it, even now. And so I'm all about being raw and candid. So in that first video, which was the hog head cheese, like I said, there were some moonshine drinks being had out there that day, and it was summertime. It was hot. And so when Jism started preparing the hog head cheese, okay, I'm trying to interview him and I'm trying to get him to give me some real cooking information. Like, talk to me about what you're doing, man. Like, how do you do this so the people can learn? But the moonshine had him. So I said, what are you doing now? And he was like, well, he says, I'm gonna let it soak and marinate and then Trizzolate. And then he went on and he kept on talking. But when I was doing the video, I went Trizzolate and I put on there, if you go find that video, Trizzolate, and I spelled it out and said, that ain't no damn word. So yes, he said it, but the word passed by and nobody would have ever thought anything else about it, except for in the following episode or episodes after that, whenever he would say it, or if I would say it for him, I made a big deal out of it, Trizzolate. Then I started putting fireworks behind it and alarms behind it and taking the camera all crazy and everything like that. So I just created all of that. So Jism will tell me right now, man, that's my word and I'm not getting paid for it. Pay me for that damn word. I said, you can't copyright a word. You copyright a logo or something like that. I said, but if we could, we would have copyrighted it for you. But I said, but Jism, your word would have been lost in time if your brother hadn't blown it up for you. So
I see what you did.
You see what I'm saying? So which one is more important? He had to say it, but it would have been said and forgotten if I hadn't blown it up, right?
You got a point.
So anyway, frizzolate is now officially in the Urban Dictionary. And people ask me all the time, Art, what does frizzolate mean? And I just simply say in my simplest form, it means something good is either happening or about to happen.
That's right.
And we gonna make it frizzolate. And
I love it.
That's what it is.
I like
all
that.
the camera work and everything like that and explosions and fireworks just enhances it.
I ain't gonna lie. The first time I saw it, I got a little dizzy, a little motion sickness, but I got used to
it.
Hey, well, Art, another question I had was in terms of, getting back to the yard, and you guys cook all the time. You guys doing the ribs, chicken, but you guys also live off the land. You guys are cooking wild boar, raccoon, all these different things. In terms of, and the fishing competitions too, y'all fry up a lot of fish that y'all catch.
Man.
Yes.
That's something that a lot of folks may not be used to in terms of, cooking what you hunt or smoking or grilling what you hunt. Can you kind of expound on that? And some things. I know one time you guys had a bear up there too. Somebody brought bear. I remember that one time.
We've had bear a couple of times.
Oh my.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's sort of like you respect the land that you live on and you respect the animals on the land. And so, yeah, it was always like that. And I'm telling you, there was never a time when we went hunting just for sport. We're hunting for deer, or if you're hunting for a squirrel, if you're hunting for black birds with buckshot, whatever you bring down, it's going in the pot. There's just no doubt about that. There's no questions about it. When it comes to fishing, I coined a phrase and I stand by it. I've seen a lot of great fishing shows, where guys catch these nice fish and they say, wow, look at that big largemouth bass. And I love fishing. And then they say, man, let's put him back in the water. I'm like, no, what are you doing?
They fry that joker up.
Right. In South Carolina, I said it on one of my episodes. We don't catch and release. We catch and get the grease.
Amen.
I love it.
Hallelujah.
You should be on the shirt.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right.
Amen. Amen.
Catch and get the grease. Now, where that's bad is that sometimes we take fish that are too small. Like if you catch a bass and he's this big, put that bass back in the water, let him grow up. But I'm telling you, I know people that won't even do that. So it's a cultural thing. We live off the land, and on the show, I've eaten squirrel and raccoon and rabbit. I haven't eaten possum on the show, but I have eaten possum. Not much anymore. We've eaten bear and snake, all kinds of fish and oysters and shellfish and crabs and so forth. Deer neck, wild boar, alligator. We got in trouble over an alligator. That was never put on an episode, but we got in trouble with law enforcement who came knocking at our door. Because turns out law enforcement watches Country Style too. And it is illegal in South Carolina to harvest a gator. And we kind of had one.
Wow.
Yeah, we did. But in any event, that's just a sampling of the things that we eat on that show. Not to mention the wild, stuff that we grow, or stuff that's from the garden. So yeah, it's organic that way. We don't just talk about being country, we live it. And that means that you know how to not only go catch or hunt and kill, but also how to process that kill and how to put it on a plate a little bit later.
Well, that is awesome. Mr. Fennell, it's been an honor to have you on this podcast, and I hope we can get you back. And I hope, if not all of us, we can come enjoy the Country Style Cookoff in person. But for those that have been living under a rock and don't know how to find you on social media, please tell the destination.
All right. Well, so our YouTube channel is called Art Fennell Country Style. If you just put in my name, Country Style pops right to the top. You can find it out there. On IG, we're Art Fennell Country Style. I have other Facebook pages and other Twitter accounts and so forth. I keep those mostly separate and make it more of maybe news and engagement or those kinds of things. But from the country style profile, those are the two main ways, on TikTok, Instagram, and on YouTube. And we appreciate everybody. You know, it's amazing. And you guys did it at the onset of your podcast here. You know, people will watch your content and enjoy it, but they forget or don't think to subscribe, you know,
Preach.
like what you're doing. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing with you guys. And, you know, that's where our universe is. You know, we need to be able to show that there is a support for the channel. And that's how we do it. So, I thank you for asking me that and for giving an opportunity to plug that for you.
Oh, my pleasure. And also, before we, you know, get a chance to pass this by, can we get more details about the Country Style Cookoff, the logistics about it?
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. So it's June 15th this year. It's always the Saturday before Father's Day, whatever day that falls on for this year. This year's June 15th. It's going to be in Blenheim, South Carolina. And people haven't heard of that. It's right outside of Bennettsville. But Blenheim is Blenheim. Okay. And it's at 3591 Highway 38 South in Blenheim, South Carolina, right off of I-95, the expressway. The event, starts at 11 o'clock. Yes, you can bring tents and you can bring your coolers, and it's, your ticket is $30. Once you pay that, you come in and eat until you can't eat anymore. And be sure and meet a new friend. It's because it's a lot of fun. There are vendors there that'll be selling. And they have a wide variety of things. And as we say, some of the best barbecue you're going to eat from anywhere because there's multiple states involved. That's what we do.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Do you suggest that people possibly bring a tent with them because it's usually a little warm?
Yes. Yeah. So the last couple of years, what started happening were impromptu tent cities where people are bringing their tents, and I saw some people out there with living room furniture under a tent. Like,
I saw that. They were chilling.
Oh my God.
Everything but the air conditioner.
Right next to the chicken coop. Right there. Okay.
Trying to chiselate.
Yeah. So again, we try to make it as family friendly as possible. We ask you not to bring what I call a funeral home tent, you know, one of those gigantic things, because we're trying to consolidate that space and get as many tents in there as possible. A standard tent is 10 by 10. Just bring one of those, but you can bring, you know, we're cooler friendly. Bring your cooler, be sure and share it with somebody. And you can bring your tent and come on out.
All right.
RVs, or even RVs, we can accommodate RVs on the day of the event, but we can't accommodate RVs prior to the event because a lot of people want to know about that too.
Good information. Well, I hope y'all can make it out there and enjoy, and you can try to get on the Trizzle moment if you want to, see how that works out for you. But again, it's been an honor having you on the show. Very excited to have this podcast with you, sir. So everybody go to all the channels that Art mentioned and have some fun. You go on a binge watch. Just sit there and you'll love it, especially the fishing ones. There's a lot of F-bombs on there, by the way.
A lot.
All right, so yes, sir. So let's go around the table with the rest of the guys from the Black Smoke crew. All right, Mr. Dogfather himself. Alton, where can they find you?
Yes, sir. The Dogfather's Barbecue. That's DAWGFATHAS BBQ. You can find me on all the different socials. And I just want to reiterate, Art, it's been a blast having you on. I can't believe an hour went by that dang fast. Yeah. It seemed like we just started talking. We just getting into it and we got to end it. But, hey, hopefully we can get you to come back. If you ever end up in Texas, Austin area, come on through. Barbecue Boulevard will be waiting for you, and I got cookers ready for you. So come on through. Come on through.
All right. And T, tell them where to find you on social media, man.
At tdub.bbq on all the socials, even threads. Catch me on threads as well. I don't thread that much, but I'm on there.
Are you talking about sewing or social media?
Social media.
The threads. Keeping it together. All right. And our fearless leader, Jeff, where can they find you on the social medias?
You can find me at Outdoors with Jeff. That's GEOFF on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and you will find me in June on the 15th at the Cookoff.
All right now. All right.
There, Jeff.
All right. And Mr. Brandon himself with the mane. Tell him where to find you on social media and take us home, brother.
Yes, you can find me and my luxurious mane all over the place, wherever they got something. Other than that Twitter Bird X, whatever. I don't do that, but every other platform, look for BKC Cooks. You will find me and this luxurious mane. And also, y'all, you can find the Black Smoke Barbecue crew on all these platforms. Again, other than X, just look for Black Smoke Barbecue, y'all. And whatever buttons they have on there, smash them. Subscribe, like, notify, buy, whatever they got. Hit it. And Art, yeah, I am looking forward to seeing you there on the 15th. I'm going to be there, and man, we're going to have a good time, brother. And again, we do appreciate you stopping by, man. Hope to have you on again one day, sooner than later, man.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Please find me at the Cookoff so we can share some love. And hey, man, I love what you guys are doing. I love the space you're in, and I got nothing but love for you, man. Keep doing what you're doing, and bigger and better. Onward to the future.
We appreciate it, brother. And y'all, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. And again, y'all, wherever you find us, hit it. We appreciate y'all listening and watching. This is the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast. We will catch y'all on the next one.